Our title for this report was Marketing Consultation Findings, and the group members were Joe, Tom, Isaac and Jared. Outlined for this presentation, so the key points were BMW marketing strives towards consumers wanting a perceived greater status, creating a strategic process to direct the consumer to understanding this product in a modern age, why BMW, a closer insight into the competition, eliminating cognitive dissonance, ensuring the customer satisfaction BMW is historically known for, and creating a loyal customer base. Introduction. The BMW M3 is a legend in the world of performance cars, causing car enthusiasts to gush over its versatile engines and razor-sharp handling. That legend, by the way, started all the way back in 1986 when the first M3, a performance edition of the similarly beloved E30 3 Series, hit the scene. The following report strives to present our main findings to the marketing team at BMW regarding the model in question, and offer our recommendations on how the marketing of the 3 Series M3 can be improved. Understanding the importance of the consumer decision-making process will help the marketers to develop a good marketing strategy to implement with the goal of increasing sales. Independent consultants Jared, Tom, Isaac, Joe and myself all weigh in on the issue in our areas of expertise to offer a well-rounded, succinct report to the marketing team. Step 1. Need recognition. The automobile has been a staple of transport for many decades, and with its high accessibility and efficiency, it is seen as a necessity for households in most first world countries. When a consumer has an unfulfilled need and has determined a product that can satisfy it, it becomes a want. The 2019 BMW 3 Series M3 is a luxury German-made car from a company with a rich history in the industry. The company's prestige, along with marketing efforts, can trigger the desires of consumers. Status is very important to some, and consumers feel that an M3 will enhance their perceived status as it is a luxury sporty car with a heavy price tag. Beyond that, psychological factors such as self-actualization needs are appealed to by the 2019 M3 due to the prestigious reputation of BMW. Another trigger are consumers in business who want to maintain a good appearance for their clients. A businessman or professional driving an old beat-up car may feel they give the impression that they are not very successful. I recommend that BMW invest in advertising the 2019 3 Series M3 as a luxury automobile through adverts on television, appealing to those who want to be perceived as successful and important, as people will also buy cars out of proportion to their salary in order to fulfill their wants. The M3 is open to a wider market.
Information search. Consumers currently are using various sources of information, including word of mouth from everyone from their friends, family, all the way to their co-workers, as well as people they admire. This information sources as well can also include general search engines, things like Google, Yahoo, and DuckDuckGo, as well as car-specific search engines. For example, Cars Guide. With general search engines, consumer searches can vary quite a lot. Maybe something simple as high-performance sedan, four-door car, etc. Whereas car-specific search engines like Cars Guide only allow to search the make and model. Customers in their information search may also use their own internal knowledge of specific cars' components, and this will typically relate to their own needs. This can be examples for such as things as horsepower, or even their own comfort needs in terms of the car's the inner part of the car's design. In terms of recommendations for reaching out to customers through these various information sources, one place I recommend focusing on is YouTube, as through YouTube there are various review channels that target various consumers based on the target group and how each consumer is searching based on their needs of the individual features. Examples such as the car interior can be shown quite easily through these types of videos. And the benefit of YouTube being owned by Google allows for a mixed strategy appealing to both platforms, as the system for creating advertising is done through the AdWords platform, which allows you to target two of the most used search platforms. And I recommend using AdWords as a part of an SEO strategy, as well as creating keywords based on the target group and the needs of the target group and what they are likely to search for, both on general search engines and car specific search engines.
This segment focuses on the evaluation of alternatives. So what attributes are the consumer likely to consider important? So one of the aspects would be price. Another one would be loyalty and the car itself and the comfort and how it drives, as well as the practicality of that car, as these are all family cars. What cut-offs would the consumer use? So obviously price, the body type which the car is offered in, and the treatment they receive from each dealership. The customer would rank the brand and sub-brands based on price, the performance of the car, and the tech, along with the comfort. So the competitors for the BMW M3 comprise of the Audi RS4, the Mercedes-Benz C63 and the Alfa Romeo Giulia. So as you see, the C63 is offered in a coupe, a sedan, a wagon and a convertible. The Audi RS4 is offered in a wagon, and the Alfa is only offered in a sedan. So the BMW is only offered in a sedan as well. So a cut-off that consumers might consider is they might want something different, like a wagon or a convertible, as opposed to a sedan. Another cut-off that consumers might consider is the engine type. So obviously the BMW has an inline-six twin-turbo. The Audi RS4 also has an inline-six turbo, as well as the Mercedes-Benz, which has a V8 bi-turbo, which is a different engine to both of them. So if you like V8s, you might look into buying the Mercedes-Benz rather than the BMW M3. The Giulia has a V6 bi-turbo. Another thing that consumers might consider is the drivetrain of the car. So the BMW is a rear-wheel drive, and the Audi is all-wheel drive, and the Mercedes is rear-wheel drive, and so is the Alfa Romeo. So people might buy the Audi if they like having full control of the car all the time and traction. We move on to attribute 4, which is the price. So the BMW out of the competitors is the cheapest one at $161,000. So if the consumer is price sensitive, they will be choosing the BMW M3 if price is their main concern. So recommendations to change the BMW would be to keep the manual transmission option as it is the only car out of the competitors which offer manual transmission. So if they were to get rid of it, they would get rid of the market of people who enjoy driving manual transmission cars. Keeping the rear-wheel drive option would also be appropriate, as it makes the car more fun to drive, as you can kick the back out and maybe drift it if you'd like at track events. And another recommendation is more personal options, so you could personalise your M3, and I said you could add a panoramic sunroof, as some of the competitors do have one, but not the BMW.
Now looking at the post-purchase behaviour for the target market, this product is likely to satisfy the consumer's needs in a number of ways. One way the customer may feel buyer's remorse, however, is the status of this car among enthusiasts lowers over time. It may well be the fastest, most practical and best looking M car ever made, but if it does not fulfill certain nostalgic criteria, or if it's not a pleasurable drive, the consumer is going to be left feeling disappointed, and perhaps more importantly, the car will now lose its wow factor among the public. This edition of the M3 is, however, unlikely to do so. While it is a far cry from the classic M3s, which made them such a popular car among motoring enthusiasts and consumers, the fact is that at a rear-wheel drive and still having a manual transmission option is going to excite even the biggest skeptics. In a modern market where this is an uncommon feature, car enthusiasts are going to be extremely excited at that prospect. This model of the M3 has also gone back to a straight 6.3 litre engine, just like the classics, and now with a twin turbo to keep up the competition. Although the consumer has already purchased the car, marketing is still essential, along with ongoing service. As outlined in the recognition of need, this consumer is very likely to be focused on appearance, whether it is the sound pedestrians hear, people stopping to look at the car, particularly when it's parked, or even just the perception among car enthusiasts. We now need to ensure that the consumer's decision is reinforced through awe of the public when they see this car. This means that through a number of avenues we need to ensure this car is perceived as worth the luxury price tag. Much of this work can be done through magazines. Images of the car showing off its appearance is essential, and my recommendation would be to go through a social media route and perhaps use influencers or celebrities who are commonly known to have an eye for style, such as certain sports stars or actors. So in conclusion, we've found that the current marketing efforts here at BMW are very strong, and our prediction is that this car is going to be a class leader in sales among a wide audience. With a few suggestions, we believe that this product will ensure continuing dominance in the performance car market and hopefully bring customers into the BMW culture, encouraging them to make further purchases. In terms of the competition, as mentioned by Tom, our recommendation is that this car be continually offered in manual rear-wheel drive options to satisfy those nostalgic consumers, creating a point of difference within the strategic group as well. As per Kian's points made earlier, continual advertising ensures that the public hold the reputation of this vehicle in high regard, and as such, consumers of this vehicle are going to be reassured that the general public are impressed when they see the vehicle. Another way to reinforce that image is to ensure that regular social media influencers come into contact with the car. The general public is seeing that through the social aspects and avenues. And even if people are not car lovers, we want to ensure that the M3 becomes a household name. The image of the car, we want it to be also associated with style and luxury every time the consumer sees it, just to create that that link, which will ultimately result in more sales and a lowered level of cognitive dissonance. Thank you for your time today.